Hey, sports fans, welcome to Haroon's Hangout, the internationally featured show on marketing innovation, where we make digital marketing simple, straightforward, and fun. I am Haroon Rashid, your host, and I'm the head of digital marketing for Khemeia Consulting. As always, we are presented by the Khemeia Network and Khemeia Consulting, Yorkshire's innovation agency, where we believe that innovation is the key to business growth. Now, today is episode 55, How to Use Social Media for Business Networking. Now, I was originally going to be joined by our managing director, Ian Sharp, but unfortunately, he's been called away on some really urgent business. So it's just going to be myself today doing this solo, but we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great show. So in today's show, we're going to be covering how to use LinkedIn, Google+, and Twitter for business networking. Then we're going to go into how to reach out to influencers. Those are people who have a bigger network than yourselves in your industry. And then we're going to look at how to create a network referral or even a referral network. So diving straight in, let's just go into the whole mindset that goes with, here we go. Hey, how's it going? So I got a LinkedIn request once, okay? This is probably a couple of years ago. I got a LinkedIn request from somebody, and they were from some sort of insurance company in Bradford. And, you know, I never met them before. I didn't know who they were. And so I just do what I always do. I replied to the invitation without accepting it. So you can do that. So I just said, hi, so-and-so. My apologies. I can't remember if we've met or not. But I said, you know, I'm happy to have a phone call, find out more. We can find out more about each other's businesses, and let's see if we can add value to each other's network. That's the standard kind of thing that I do all the time. Now, they got back in touch and said, oh, yeah, we haven't met before and everything, yada, yada, yada. Happy to have a chat. Great. So I sent a response back to say, that's fine, no problem. Here's my number, or here's my email address. Can we schedule a time and let's have a chat? And then there was silence. So I left it for about a week, and then I just kind of gave a polite, gentle reminder and said, hi, still happy to have a chat if you want to. And the response I got was that they said, sorry, I'm not really interested in having a chat. I just wanted to build up my numbers. I felt so used. I felt so used and abused. I mean, she was using me to build up her LinkedIn numbers. And that's the wrong mentality to have when it comes to your business networking online and with social media. So let's talk about, first of all, if you want to use social media as a tool for your business networking, it all starts with the mindset. It doesn't really matter where you're doing it. That's irrelevant, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, whatever. Those are all just tools. But what is the differentiating factor is your mindset. How am I using these tools to build my network? So really the first thing I've got to say is that the first thing you've got to have is not a selfish one. It's how can I serve others? That is the number one thing that I believe is just going to really give you a good name online. You're going to have a good quality network. You're going to build up really good, you'll have good reputation and all that. So first of all, think, how can I serve others? How can I be of value to others? Do I have contacts that can benefit this person? I'm always actively just scanning my Twitter feed or LinkedIn groups or whatever, and I'm just looking for people who are asking questions. I might not have the answer. If I have the answer, I'll help them out by all means. But if I don't have the answer, I might know somebody who does. So I'll just say, oh, hey, you need to talk to so-and-so. I call it random acts of kindness. They might not know who I am, but you know, it's just a nice thing to do. And you know, I've built up some really good friendships and connections by doing that. So that's number one. Number two is how, you know, not to, I mean, we're all wanting to try and get connections for ourselves, but just allow them to happen. Allow it to naturally happen. If you set the tone right by being a person of a good reputation, you will find that people will naturally want to do things for you. That's just how it is. If you're genuine and sincere in your endeavors, that is. So just allow connections to naturally happen. Don't force them. It's always good when it naturally happens, okay? And thirdly, this is the one that everyone knows anyway. Make sure that you've got something worth to actually share or talk about in the marketplace? Are you a connection that is worth having? That's a bit of a harsh one, isn't it? Okay, not everybody is, I don't know if I can say this without sounding really harsh, but we all know people who, as a connection, they're not very valuable, or they're not as valuable as they could be. So you want to make sure that as a connection, you want to think, well, if someone has me in their network, I want them to be happy that I'm in their network. I want them to feel like, I'm so glad that I know that person. They have great content, they have a great attitude, they have a good quality network, etc., etc. So make sure that you are worth having in someone's network. And those people, the key people that you need, will seek you out. That's how it works. So that's the mindset that I take into Google Plus or Twitter or LinkedIn and all that good stuff. So the other thing to think about is, if you're online, it's great talking to people, absolutely, but don't make it all about that, okay? The thing that you do need, on the other hand, is good content. And I mean videos, podcasts, blog posts, images, interviews, audio clips, whatever it is, ebooks, whatever, but make sure that you have good content to back up what you're saying. I was sat in a cafe one day with, he was quite high up in one of the bigger professional speaking organizations in the UK. And I had never met this person. I'd only spoken to them on Twitter. And, we have rival basketball teams, and, we had a bit of a banter, and I said, look, I'm not selling you anything. I just said, I would love to meet up with you. I think you're really cool. I think you've got a lot of interesting content. You seem like a very cool person. I would just like an hour of your time, and I'll pay for the coffee. So I met up with this person, and they were apprehensive because he was saying, you're not selling me anything. That's just a bit weird. I mean, we've not met each other. We've just talked to each other on Twitter, but you want to have a coffee. And I said, yeah, that's just how I do my networking now. I've seen you, we've had a good chat, but you also had good content. And that was the thing. His content gave him credibility. It backed up what I thought about him. He seemed to be a valuable person to have in my network. And, we had a good conversation. We had, a really good coffee and all that. And then what happened was that he started noticing the content that I was creating, and he put me forward for a speaking gig. He's put me forward for business and all that. And some of these contracts are worth a lot of money. I'm talking tens of thousands of pounds worth of business here. So make sure that you talk, but have the content as well. If you just make it all about talking, you're just going to make a hell of a lot of friends, but you're not going to make any good connections, really, okay? Or you're not going to make any business. And ultimately, if you're in business and you're trying to network, you want to make money. That is what it comes down to, guys. If you make some friends along the way, that's a bonus. Okay, so the other thing to notice that on Google Plus and LinkedIn particularly, there are Google Plus communities and there's LinkedIn groups. In essence, they're the same thing. They're just basically communities or groups where, you can talk to people about a similar, a shared interest. So for example, on Google Plus, I'm a member of a few communities around business or small business. And then I've got things around Superman or the NFL or, basketball and all that kind of stuff. And I just talk to like-minded people. We just build, relationships that way. Same thing with LinkedIn groups. It's the same thing. People can create LinkedIn groups around business or social media or innovation or whatever it is. And you can go meet good people over there. Now, the thing to do is that, the thing that most people do is they will just take their content and then they'll just spam those groups. That's not what you want to do. The best thing to do is to try and engage discussions, ask really good questions, or take a topical event or something and then ask people what they think about it. And you'll start to have, really good discussions with people. And that is a really great way to build a network. I've met so many great people that way. And the great thing about it is that you are actually demonstrating your knowledge and your expertise in a discussion. So people will naturally figure out whether you know what you're talking about. So you could go, if you're a solicitor, go find out if there's any groups around legal matters that you deal with. If you're an accountant, go and find those groups where they are. Find out where your peers are. Find out where your customers are. Get the right groups, and this can really work well for you. So the next thing is how to reach out to influencers. Now, there is someone called John Hayden. Unless you don't know, he's the author of Facebook Marketing for Dummies. He's in Boston, Massachusetts, over in the States, and he's the founder of Inbound Zombie. Now, John he's one of my marketing heroes. Okay, now I've seen his content for a long time. I've seen interviews with him and everything like that, and I always wished I could get him on this show. I'm proud to say that today he's been on the show 3 times. He's become a really good contact for us, good friend, dare I say, and really great guy. But it all started by me not knowing him. He didn't know me. We didn't know each other from Adam. So how did I go from a place of not even knowing John personally to getting him on the show 3 times, where he's a regular contributor to our content? Well, the first thing I thought was, well, I can't just approach him out of the blue. I can't just send him an email. I've got to develop a relationship with him first. And I've got to do it genuinely. And this is really important. So whenever he shared his blog posts or his videos or whatever, I would check it out. I would take the time to actually read it or watch the video. And then I would send him a note and just say, hey, great post or great video. I enjoyed this point in particular. And then what I would do is I would start sharing John's content. Not like overkill or whatever, but I share out people's content all the time. So I just put it in the mix, in the rotation. And, John would see that. I would tag him on Twitter and he would get a notification. So he could see, oh, Haroon's sharing my content. And then over time, John would then say, thanks for sharing that. Thank you very much. And I'd say, no problem. We'd have a little talk and things like that. And then once I felt it was an appropriate time, after we'd had a little bit of a chat, I just said to him, hey, would you mind if I emailed you about something? I've got something I'd like to talk to you about business-wise. So, and then he was really, really nice about it. And he just said, yeah, here's my email address. I'll look forward to it. And then I just said to him, hey, we've known each other on Twitter a little bit. I've got a show called Haroon's Hangout. I'd love you to come on it, blah, 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 blah. And John was like, yeah, sure, I'll come on it. We had a great time and everything like that. And, we've kept in touch. And the relationship, we've just made sure that we keep the relationship strong. And we're building on that relationship over time. And now, like I say, he's been on the show 3 times. But that is the way to approach an influencer. John has got, I think at the time, he's probably got approaching 50,000 Twitter followers. That beats my 1,000, okay, at the time of this video. So I had to make sure that there was a relationship in place. I couldn't just go to him out of the blue and just go, hey, John, do you want to come on my show? He's going to be like, who are you? What? I don't trust you. And that's the main thing. He doesn't trust you. If an influencer needs to trust you, okay? And the only way you can do that is by having some sort of relationship with you. Don't forget, social media is called social for a reason. Yeah? Social, talking, relationships, trust building. It all comes down to relationships and then having that content to back it up. So make sure that when you reach out to an influencer, don't just do it cold, develop some sort of relationship with them. Now, how to create a referral network. Okay, so basically, if you have that right mindset, reach out to influencers and everything like that, and you're creating content, okay, what will happen is that you'll start to attract fans. Okay, and what I mean by that is people who are excited about your brand, excited about you, your content, and they will share your stuff and they will be advocates of you. Now, that's what you want. This is actually a long-term strategy, and it's an ongoing strategy to create a referral network. That's people that are going to just say, you know what? I know someone who needs marketing services, so I'm going to go and recommend Haroon. I've seen his content. We've got a good relationship. He seems like a nice guy, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. That's how it works, really. People will only refer you if they trust you. And that's a tweetable right there. People will only refer you if they trust you. So that's a long-term strategy to building a referral network. And if you want, you can go and check out At the Sharp End as well. In fact, that's probably a good time to do the ad for this right now. But, our managing director, Ian Sharp, I'll just bring it on the screen right now. There you go. So do be sure to catch At the Sharp Ends at the sharp end, Mondays, 9 a.m. Greenwich Meridian time, with Ian Sharp, the head of Khemeia Consulting. And he does talk a lot about business coaching, business consulting, business modeling. He has done some stuff on business networking as well. And it's a really great show, a really great resource for you. So I'm going to leave it there today, guys. I hope that you have found it useful. And as always, you can always tweet us your questions. I'm sorry that Ian couldn't be here. We did have some questions that we could have gone through, but we'll probably save it for next time because it's always great to get another person's perspective. And you've heard me banging on for long enough as it is. Do catch me next week where we'll be talking about, I can't even remember where we are, but we'll put it in the show notes. There'll be a link to it all there. But I'll be joined by John the Major Stevenson, and I think it's something to do with how to grow your business, a growth strategy with digital marketing. It's going to be a great show. You don't want to miss it. But from me and all the guys at the Khemeia Network, we just want to say thanks a lot for watching and take care, sports fans.